You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. Primary Election Day is set to kick off tomorrow across the Commonwealth. As a reminder, voters using mail-in ballots who haven't sent them back yet must have them in their county election bureau by 8 p.m. tomorrow. Drop boxes are available today at Hazleton City Hall, Misericordia University, the Pittston Memorial Library, Penn Place in Wilkes-Barre, and the Wright Township Volunteer Fire Department in Mountaintop. Those who visit electionreturns.pa.gov can customize their searches, receive updates, view results on mobile devices, and use a location-based service through the My County link to bring up their county's election returns and connect to each county's election results website. Polls are open tomorrow from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. 10 people were displaced after a fire broke out at a double-block home yesterday in Luzerne County. Fire crews were called around 6 Sunday evening to 827 East Front Street in Salem Township for report of a house fire. According to officials, a malfunctioning stove in one of the units was what caused the flames. All of the residents made it out safely and are being assisted by the American Red Cross. A Hazleton man has been taken into custody after a report of shots fired Friday evening. Hazleton police were called to the 100 block of East Tamarack Street for reports of shots fired in the area. Through the investigation, it was discovered that multiple rounds were set off from a firearm in the area. The suspect, 19-year-old F.A. Del Rosario de la Cruz, was located and taken into custody. He was charged with terroristic threats, recklessly endangering another person, simple assault, and criminal use of a communication facility. No injuries were reported during the incident, as the investigation remains ongoing. Anyone with any information is being asked to contact the Hazleton Police Detective Division. 2 men were arrested after a long police investigation led to a drug bust in Luzerne County. Multiple firearms and distribution-sized amounts of narcotics were discovered during the investigation. Pittston City and Jenkins Township Police, along with the Luzerne County Drug Task Force, were part of the investigation. Search warrants led authorities to the arrests of Shamik David Stevens of Pittston and Robert Calabrese of Jenkins Township. Authorities recovered 7 firearms, fentanyl, and heroin. Both have been arraigned on drug charges and are being held in Luzerne County Prison without bail. PennDOT announced tons of road work scheduled for this week in Luzerne County. Milling and paving work for the bridge rehabilitation project on State Route 309 north and southbound will call for lane restrictions from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Lane restrictions will be in effect between exit 2 and 3 on the North Cross Valley Expressway tonight through Friday. Lane restrictions will also be put into effect along Interstate 80 eastbound this week from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. This includes the exit 260 Harrisburg-Wilkes-Barre on and off ramp tomorrow, May 17th, the exit 262 Mountaintop Hazleton on and off ramp on Wednesday the 18th, and exit 273 Whitehaven Freeland to the exit 262 Mountaintop Hazleton on ramp. Motorists should expect delays and use extra caution while traveling through work zones. Luzerne County Council is holding a special meeting today to appoint an interim county manager. New manager Randy Robertson is expected to take over the week of June 13th. Current acting interim manager Romilda Crocomo's last day is Friday. Indications are that the position could go to the current county head of the Budget and Finance Division, Brian Sweats. We'll have more for you regarding this afternoon's meeting on tomorrow night's newscast. A Democrat running for the U.S. Senate from Pennsylvania suffered a stroke but is on his way to a full recovery. Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman's campaign released a statement on the matter Sunday, saying that Fetterman wasn't feeling well on Friday and went to the hospital. Fetterman says, quote, The good news is I'm feeling much better, and the doctors tell me I didn't suffer any cognitive damage. He says the health emergency won't slow his campaign, but the stunning revelation, just a day before Pennsylvania's primary election, creates a cloud of uncertainty over the Democratic frontrunner's candidacy. A deadly mass shooting took place over the weekend at a Buffalo, New York marketplace. Wyln's Mackenzie Ocker has the story.
A shooting that took place on Saturday afternoon at Top Street Market in Buffalo, New York has claimed the lives of 10 people. According to Buffalo police, 13 people were shot in total, 11 of the victims being African American, while the other 2 were white. 4 of those victims were also employees of the store. As of Sunday morning, 2 of the survivors have been discharged as the other survivor is in stable condition. According to Buffalo police, the suspect drove to the market on Jefferson Avenue, got out of his car, and held up 4 people in the parking lot. He began shooting, killing 3, sending the 4th person to the hospital to be treated. The suspect was wearing tactical gear along with a camera to live stream the event on social media. Security guard Aaron Salter Jr., who was a retired Buffalo police officer, fired multiple shots, hitting the suspect, but none of those affected him since he was wearing an armored plate. The suspect made his way through the store, then came back towards the front, where Buffalo police caught him in the store's vestibule. During his encounterment with the police, he put his gun to his own neck, eventually dropping it while taking off his tactical gear and surrendering to police. Buffalo police have acquired warrants on both state and federal levels and will look at digital platforms, computers, phones, cameras, and other items that come into play in the investigation. The FBI is bringing in special equipment to aid in the investigation, and through evidence that's been collected, have said, quote, "Makes no mistake that this is an absolute hate crime." Governor Katie Hochul addressed the media at a Sunday morning press conference saying, quote, "I will use every bit of power I have as your governor to protect you." The suspect has been identified as 18-year-old Peyton S. Gendron of Conklin, New York. Conklin, New York is not too far from Northeast Pennsylvania, as it is located right over the New York state line. Gendron was arraigned in Buffalo City Court on Saturday evening and has been charged with first-degree murder. He's currently being held without bail, as his next court date is scheduled for May 19th for a felony hearing. Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Mackenzie Ocker.
Thank you, Mackenzie. The Nanticoke City Fire Department arrived in Plymouth Township around 5 p.m. Friday for a rescue operation. Multiple crews worked together to rescue a man and his dog who'd fallen approximately 50 to 60 feet off a cliff into a creek in the area of 63 North Mill Street. According to officials, the man was rescued and removed from the creek and quickly transported to a local hospital to be evaluated for injuries. The dog was also safely removed from the creek and was checked out by a vet before being taken to a local animal hospital for treatment. There are no updates on the patient's conditions at this time. After 112 years in business, Liberty Cleaners will be closing its doors later this month in Wilkes-Barre. Business owner Stacy Papadopoulos' grandfather opened the business, which was then called the Victoria, back in 1910 on East Market Street in Wilkes-Barre. It began as a place for shoe shines and hat cleaning. It moved to Public Square in 1920 and added dry cleaning by the 1930s. They're currently located at North Main and Union Streets. Coming up on Wyln News, click it or ticket. Plus, Iron Pigs have another reason to oink on at Coca-Cola Park. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ezra. I'm 5 years old. And it's sunny out, so break your sunglasses.
We want your child to be our Wyln Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on Wyln News and Wyln social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the Wyln News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
The clear choice for our next state representative is Gary Perna. Gary is the only candidate with real city and township government experience, working in both Luzerne and Schuylkill counties. Gary serves in multiple communities as a volunteer firefighter and gives his time to countless organizations. It's time we send one of us to represent all of us in Harrisburg. On May 17th, vote Gary Perna Jr. for state representative.
I'm Gary Perna Jr., and I approve this message.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Tune in and see all the unique places to stay and things to do in the Pocono Mountains. Watch PTN on WYLN.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information.
Here's a reminder that the Click It or Ticket campaign will begin statewide today. PennDOT, the Northeast Highway Safety Program, Pennsylvania State and local police take this time each year to highlight the importance of seatbelt safety as part of the statewide Click It or Ticket mobilization. When participants engage in an enforcement such as Click It or Ticket, they can use these lessons to encourage other community members to buckle up every trip, every time. The National Enforcement Mobilization will run from today through June 5th. Hazleton Public Transit has announced their office will be closed in observance of Election Day. HPT's office will be closed tomorrow, May 17th, for Election Day. However, the Church Street location will be open and their buses will be running. Regular office hours will continue on Wednesday, May 18th. The Iron Pigs collaborated with Canisa's Pudding to add pigs in dirt on the menu at Coca-Cola Park. The pudding treat will be added to the park's PNC Club level menu. As more people buy the item and sales increase, the Iron Pigs hope to make the dessert available within the team's main concession areas. Canisa's, the pudding bar, has been located in Easton since June of 2019, but the walk-in store hasn't been open for the past few months due to building damage. Owners Canisa and Sean Darby's Pudding has become well known throughout Easton and has gotten community support as well. Both owners are honored to have their pudding featured with the Iron Pigs and are excited for those outside of Easton and across the Lehigh Valley to try their treat. Coming up on Shepton's News Choice, we learn more about the Hazleton area lifesavers and community in you, plus who's leading the way this week. And stay with us for everything else we have lined up for you later tonight on WYLN TV.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Have you ever experienced that super pushy salesperson who follows you all around? Not here.
Or wandered around that big box store looking for help in the appliance department, only to find the pink guy? Not here.
And we have an experienced, courteous sales staff here to help you find the perfect mattress, piece of furniture, or appliance with no pressure.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
truck, Jura's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in 610 North Broad Street, West Hazelton, 570-454-7229.
Memberships are available at the Valley Country Club in Sugarloaf. The new upgrades will leave you with a distinctive and unique experience unlike any other venue in Northeast PA. Call Frank Gradis 570-233-5328. Email vccpro@thevalleycountryclub.com.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman on WYLN TV 35. Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 9.
Welcome to Community and You, and today we are talking with Amy Yannick. Amy is one very busy lady. First of all, you're a high school teacher?
I teach high school science, biology, and anatomy at the Hazelton Area High School.
And you're also a Gift of Life ambassador. Maybe our viewers don't know what that is. Can you tell them?
Sure. An ambassador is a volunteer trained through Gift of Life who has a message to spread about organ and tissue donation. My particular connection is that I'm a recipient family. I'm also a donor family. My brother-in-law passed away and he donated his organs, but we have a common connection and we want to spread the message of the importance of organ and tissue donation.
And it's interesting how all of this came together, because now you're actually talking about this with your students?
So as a teacher of anatomy and physiology, it's something that comes up in topics. So we talk quite extensively about organ and tissue donation, and I try to dispel some myths, misconceptions, ask them if they have any connections to organ tissue donation. Also, if they're donors. And a lot of times they have questions. They say, oh, well, my dad or my mom was with me when I got my license, so they just told me to say no. So I'm hoping that I can introduce this topic to them so when they have that opportunity to say yes or no when they get their license, they don't have to look to a parent for advice. They can make their own decision.
And when we're talking about getting your license, you're talking, 16, 17-year-olds? What's a typical question that they would ask you?
Well, they think, the number one misconception is they think that their lives are not going to be saved. If medical staff knows that they're an organ donor, they're going to let them go in order to get the organ, and that's not the case. So that's number one misconception. That's one of the biggest one. They really don't talk about cost. Maybe some about faith, that if it's against their religion. But sometimes it's cost, and that if they can have a viewing, because that is something that, in most cases, your viewing will be, open casket. You look perfect. You're not deformed or anything from any of the organ removals.
Boy, that's such topics to be dealing with high school students, especially in that age group. But you've gotten them involved, and now you have an event coming up. What is it?
We are doing our first community event, and we're going to do a little skate party at the Strand in McAdoo. Skating has always been a passion of mine, so I wanted to find something I could do to incorporate that into our little event, and give kids a chance to do something that maybe they never did before. All the while, we have people sharing stories. There's a place where people can can post pictures, little clotheslines, so they can write their story. You know, if they were, maybe we have a living donor. I know there's a couple people that have received tissues and bone marrow. And even if we have some donor families, they can tell the story of their loved one and when they passed away and became an organ donor.
And when and where is this going to be happening?
This will be Sunday, May 22nd from 1 to 5 at the Strand in McAdoo.
Is there any kind of an admission?
Free admission. We're going to have some food, some snacks, games. Kids can skate. There's going to be some gift of life or an organ donation swag. Painting rocks. We're going to be painting rocks. We did a painting rock event at school 2 weeks ago prior to the Donor Dash for Blue and Green Week. And students painted rocks with Donate Life and gift of life messages so we can place them throughout the community.
So Sunday, May 22nd, at where?
The Strand in McAdoo.
Okay, make sure you're there because Amy has a lot to share with you, and I think these students are probably wonderful when it comes to talking about all this. We'll see you again soon on Community and You.
Hi, I'm Mike LaRocca. I'm running for state representative in the 116th district. I've lived in this district my whole life. I've been in business here for over 20 years. Just like you, I'm frustrated with the directions things are going. When elected, I will be the firm voice for seniors, veterans, law enforcement, and all citizens in the 116. I promise to bring as much funding into this district to improve quality of life and lighten the burden of those on fixed incomes. I cannot do this without your vote on May 17th. Send me to Harrisburg. I will not let you down.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialist, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
We all need a midweek pick-me-up, and WYLN TV 35 is your home for good news on Wednesdays. All our good news stories will be printed in the WYLN TV Pennies Classified Good News Bulletin, distributed throughout the community and digitally posted on WYLN News Facebook page and on our website. If you have good news to share, contact us to be featured in our special Good News edition. Good events, good people, good jobs, all good news.
Abby is still perfecting her sidekick, and her jab is just for show. But for Abby, this is a remarkable day, because Abby recently defeated a real foe, cancer, when she partnered with Lehigh Valley Riley Children's Hospital, a children's hospital close to home with more than 30 pediatric specialties. Take a bow, Abby. You deserve it. Lehigh Valley Riley Children's Hospital. Your health deserves a partner.
Did you know that WYLN News provides news updates every weekday afternoon
At 1, 3, and 5 here on TV and on social media?
Did you also know you can watch WYLN News on the go by visiting our website or YouTube page?
Now more than ever,
WYLN is your local news leader.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Amy Yannick's leading the way to kick off this week's series.
Welcome to Leading the Way, and today we are leading the way with Amy Yannick. Amy, welcome.
Thanks
nice
for
to
having
have
me.
you here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, before we get into today, let's go back in time. Tell us about, Amy, where you grew up, where all of this started.
Okay, so I'm originally from Scranton. Actually, I was originally from Virginia, but my parents are from Scranton, and I lost my mother when I was 7 years old. She passed away, and my dad retired a few years later he worked in D.C. So we moved back to Scranton, which is where my parents were from. So that's why I'm from Scranton. And my father had a heart transplant in 1996, And 5 years prior to that, I received my license and decided to be an organ donor. So fast forward, I did not go to school to be a teacher. I had other plans, but because my father was sick and he couldn't leave the state, my dreams of being a marine biologist were...
Marine biologist.
Yeah, and I realized that I really couldn't study that or pursue a career in that. In a landlocked state, I decided to shift gears, and I was actually doing lab work. I worked for the Sewer Authority. I worked for a lab in the Poconos, and I really wasn't satisfied. I knew there was something else, and I kind of was looking for another job, another direction to go into. When I was picking up water samples, one day I was in a car accident and I was life-flighted Lehigh Valley. So my injuries were pretty severe. I had fractured 2 vertebrae in my neck and I broke my pelvic bone in a couple places. So it took me 6 months to recover. And in that time, I realized how lucky I was to be alive. And I was 25 at the time, so it gave me a second chance to start a new career. So I wrote a letter, hand-wrote a letter to my favorite teacher from high school. I'm a graduate of Scranton Prep. And I asked her what she thought about me being a teacher. And she encouraged me, and I went back to school. It took me a year to get my certificate in student teach, and I've been teaching. This is actually my 20th year teaching.
Wow, congratulations.
It was the best decision I ever made.
Marine biology, where did that come from?
I'm a mermaid. I love the water, and I love the water. I was a scuba diver, and I just wanted to, that's what I wanted to do, be at the beach.
Well, I agree with you there. I'm certainly all about being at the beach. So from that to having so many other things, you also mentioned the fact that you're an organ donor, and when we have you back on again tomorrow, we're going to talk more about that and find out exactly where Amy is today. So we hope you'll join us on Leading the Way.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page, YouTube page, or at WYLNTV.com. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.